Now after completing the primary cell, we'll move to the secondary cells. So secondary cells, the cell which can be recharged by passing a direct current through them, are called secondary cells. In primary cells, what I said, it cannot be recharged because the reaction is taking place in one particular direction, isn't it? I said you. It cannot be recharged. The reaction goes in one particular direction. It cannot be reversed by any external energy. Here what I am saying you, the cells which can be recharged, listen carefully, the cells which can be recharged by passing a direct current through them are called secondary cells. Got it? So these are also called as repeated action cells, we can say that. Now the battery which you are using in your house, alright, for the inverter you are using it, when the current goes off, you are getting the, what you can say, the current from that particular battery, so that is being discharged. That process is called discharging. You are able to draw current from the cell, that is called discharging. But when the current again comes, alright, when the current comes, alright, again the battery gets recharged, that is called recharging. So hence what you can see is that a direct current is flowing through it and the battery gets recharged. So hence I am showing you this sort of battery. You have seen it also in your house or you have seen somewhere. You are having a negative terminal, that is a lead. You can see the positive terminal, the lead oxide, you can see the positive terminal. This is a cell divider which divides the different, what you can say, the compartment in a cell, the cell divider, we can say that, which is basically made of plastic or some other material, we can say. The negative terminal, you can see it's there at the top, which you can see always in a battery, the negative terminal at the top. The positive terminal also you can see there, it is written plus minus in the battery. If you just see it, and the protective casing is there made of a plastic. And the electrolyte is nothing but dilute sulfuric acid. For that reason you have seen it, time to time you have to add water to it. Why? Because the acid gets concentrated. How it gets concentrated? Because water evaporates. You will see that here in the discharging process and the recharging process, water is being released and the water gets evaporated. It is being released from the air holes and it gets evaporated. So hence the acid gets concentrated. To make it dilute, time to time you have to add water to it to make it dilute, to keep the acid dilute. Got it? Because dilute sulfuric acid is a good conductor of electricity, not concentrated. You know that particular thing. So hence time to time you have to add water to it. Clear? For that reason. Now the internal arrangement I can show you here. You can see that the internal arrangement here. See, the blue one is the lead and PbO2 is your nothing but is your that is your cathode. Got it? You can see even the color, that is negative charge is given. You can see that the negative is your nothing but is your blue one. You can see is the lead, is the spongy lead. Okay, and the positive is nothing but is your PbO2, which is nothing but is your red colored. Clear? So this is internally. You can see the compartment. You can see at the top also the compartment you can see is there. The different compartment, the plus minus is written, and ultimately we are having B positive and A negative, we can say that. See, different compound. This is the internal setup. Now this battery consists of 6 2-volt cells connected in series. 6 2-volt. 1 2 3 4 5 6. 6 2-volt cells are there. 12-volt battery. 6 into 2 means 12-volt battery, which is nothing but the car battery, or which is a truck we are using the battery. Got it? So you can see there. Then in between these plates, you can see red and blue color the plates, which is the cathode and anode. We are putting the sulfuric acid, the electrolyte along with water we are putting, that dilute sulfuric acid is being putting here, and you can see it is being arranged in parallel. Got it? Parallelly you can see the plates are being arranged. You can see the positive and the negative plates are being arranged parallelly. Clear? I hope you will be you are able to see it. Got it? And the volt, how it is calculated, at the top you can see 2 2 2 2 in this way. I said 6 batteries are there, each 2 volt, so total volt is nothing but 12 volts you are getting it, isn't it? I think you have understood here the internal arrangement, how the battery is being arranged internally, because I showed you here that is nothing but your negative is your electrode is your lead and the positive electrode is lead oxide. So you can see it here. The negative electrode is your nothing but the lead, the spongy lead, which is blue in color, and the positive electrode is your lead oxide, which contains dilute sulfuric acid as an electrolyte. Got it? The internal arrangement you saw, how it is being arranged. This is externally, you know it. Now next is we will be coming to, that is the reactions which is being taking place. Now see, this is the reaction. Already I have said you the anode, what is that? Is the lead, cathode is the lead oxide, electrolyte dilute sulfuric acid. The anode reaction, you can see it is nothing but anode is going to lose electron, Pb minus 2E minus gives Pb2 plus, and this Pb2 plus reacts with sulfate ion from sulfuric acid to form lead sulfate. Alright, now cathode reaction is these two electrons will be gained by PbO2 along with H plus ions which is released from water to form Pb2 plus and water. Got it? Now overall cathode reaction you can see is given there, and overall battery the reaction at the bottom you can see it's given there, Pb plus PbO2 plus SO4 2 minus plus 4H plus. You can add it, these two reaction you will be getting it this. Anode reaction, cathode reaction, you add it, whatever will be cancelled, electrons will be cancelled, and whatever is remaining on the reactant side and product side you will add it, you will be getting this final answer. This is a final answer, very simple. Anode reaction is there na, and overall anode reaction and overall cathode reaction, you added these two reaction, you can see electrons will get cancelled, 2 minus on the anode reaction on the product side and cathode reaction on the reactant side, you add it up. Then when you add it up you will get this overall reaction in the battery, you will be getting it. Okay, now this is the reaction I have given you for the discharging and recharging. See, it is written very clearly, discharge on the positive side, positive side I am saying, on the product side, and recharging, the discharge is written on the reactant side. So discharging and recharging both are same, only the reactant gets product and the product become reactant. Got it? The reactant becomes product and the product becomes reactant. I have given you this all reactions in my notes, you can see in my PDF it is there, all this. Here I am just, as I am teaching you, I am showing you this particular reactions you can see is there. That is equation 1 where H plus ion and HSO4 ion is formed. In equation 2, that is from the electrolyte. Okay, in equation 2, in the negative electrode you can say lead metal reacts with this to form this product, and the positive electrode PbO2 it reacts with nothing but the H plus and HSO4 minus ion and gains 2 electrons on the anode to form this. If you write in the reverse direction, then that becomes your charging. Got it? So in this way discharging and charging is given here very nicely. So if you remember in this way, that is easier to remember. Why did I give these equations here? Because it is easier to remember in this manner. Okay, it is easier to remember. Once you go through it properly, you will see that it is being easier, very easy to remember in this way. Because if you write discharging on the forward direction, the recharging is in the backward direction. Very easy to remember. So in this way, you can say the secondary cell works. We can say that the discharging and the recharging is being taking place. Clear? Now in the secondary cell, one more cell we are having the Nicard cell, the nickel cadmium cell, which I have given the reactions. You can see in your note I have given the reaction. I am not going in detail, just I am saying you nickel cadmium cell. Cadmium is the anode and the metal grade containing NiO2 acts as a cathode. NiO2, nickel oxide, acts as a cathode, and the electrolyte is the KOH. Got it? Basically, see, in all the cells you have to remember the cathode, anode, electrolyte, and the voltage, EMF, and the cell reactions. That's all, finished. Cathode, anode, EMF, and the cell reactions. That's all finished. So in nickel cadmium cell, that is NiO2 acts as a cathode, I said you, cadmium acts as an anode, and electrolyte is your KOH. We can say electrolyte is your KOH. The reaction is the cadmium, as it is an anode, it's going to lose electrons and reacts with OH minus ions to form CdOH whole twice, and nickel oxide reacts with water and the electrons it gains to form NiOH whole twice. Got it? Now the question is that where this nickel cadmium cell is being used, Nicard cell which is also being said, is that where it is being used? It is also secondary cell, isn't it? It is being used. It is smaller, lighter, and has a longer life, and it is suitable for portable and cordless appliances. Cordless appliances, basically the cordless phone, the cordless devices like your cordless microphone, we can say that. So there the nickel cadmium cell is being used, we can say that. Clear? It is smaller, it is lighter. Nowadays we are doing the online classes, isn't it? For that particular purpose we are using the cordless phone, the cordless microphone, and all these things. So there we are using it, this nickel cadmium cell, the Nicard cell, because it is light and it can be used very easily. It can be used. Okay, I hope you understood this particular one. Next we will come to the fuel cell. Fuel cell. The cells which convert the chemical energy of a fuel directly into electrical energy are called fuel cells. What I said you, fuel cell, the cell which convert the chemical energy of a fuel directly into electrical energy are called fuel cells. Directly into, that is. So basically we are having the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell or the Bacon cell. The hydrogen oxygen fuel cell or the Bacon cell, we are having it basically. So it was designed by Bacon. Why it is called Bacon cell? Because it was designed by Bacon in 1959. That for that purpose it is being called as Bacon cell. And let me tell you, the fuel cell, the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, was first used by Apollo spacecraft. Apollo spacecraft is being used by Apollo spacecraft, and you must be knowing that Rakesh Sharma was the first person to go into the space, the first Indian First person means first Indian to go into the space, we can say that. So in that particular spacecraft, this fuel cell was being used. The hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, we can say that it was being used, Apollo spacecraft. So the diagram you can see in the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell I have shown you here. We are having the electrodes. Basically the electrode is two porous carbon electrodes we are having, which contains suitable catalysts like platinum, silver, cobalt oxide, etc. Got it? And the space between the two electrodes is filled with concentrated solution of KOH or NaOH. You can see that it's written there already in your screen. You can see electrodes, and you can see that the space between that is being filled with KOH or NaOH. We can see, and we are getting it. Electrolyte in the bottom, you can see it is being written, and cathode anode is being written. If you see this particular diagram properly, then you will be getting it. Now next is hydrogen and oxygen gas are bubbled in the electrolyte through porous carbon electrode. You can see we are passing oxidant C, oxygen gas, pure oxygen, or from air, and fuel, that is your hydrogen. We are from one side hydrogen gas is being passed, and from the other side oxygen gas is being passed. We can see that clear, and you can see the water is being released there as a byproduct. And for that reason I said you that this particular fuel cell was used by the Apollo spacecraft, because water is which was released from the fuel cell as a byproduct was used for drinking purposes by the astronauts. By the astronauts who go to the space, they use this water for drinking purposes. Got it? For that reason it was being used, we can say. And the reaction is very simple. It is very simple reaction. I will show it to you. First you understand that. You can see the two electrodes. Now electrodes is very costly, because we are having the suitable catalysts like platinum, silver, gold, cobalt oxide, because these are very costly. It's a carbon electrode and it's being filled with KOH and NaOH. And the most important thing you have to remember is that this fuel cell, this also we can say the limitations of the fuel cell is that you need to have a good protection. Protection means, that is, the cathode and anode should not come closer, or by any means it should not come in contact with one another, because hydrogen oxygen, when they will come in contact with one another, it will cause a huge explosion. You must be knowing that. For that particular purpose we use best quality of insulators, so that insulation is so perfect, it should be so perfect that hydrogen oxygen should not come in contact with one another. Alright, so that is the limitations why I am saying is that because this increases the cost of the cell. The cost is very, very high. For that reason it is not being used in our day-to-day life. Got it? This particular fuel cell we never use in our day-to-day life. Clear now? So that's a hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, as you can see is there. It is being in front of you, and the reactions I will show to you. The reaction which is being taking place. Yeah, this is the reaction. You can see at the anode it loses 2 electrons to form H plus ion, and the cathode it gains that 2 electrons oxygen and it forms water molecules. Got it? And basically the EMF of the cell, you can see it is being calculated to be as 1.23 volt. It is being calculated, EMF of the cell. This is a basic reaction, and the overall reaction is hydrogen plus oxygen gives water, H2 plus O2 gives water. Again I repeat, I have given you all these reactions in your notes. You can see is there the reactions are being there. It's very easy reactions, you can see, which is being taking place in a fuel cell. It's a very simple reaction. It's an easy reaction which is being taking place, and that is advantage of this particular fuel cell is that it has got very high efficiency, very high efficiency. Efficiency is 60 to 70% efficiencies. Other cells, that is the ordinary cells which are using in our day-to-day life, it is hardly 35 to 40%. So you can see the efficiency is almost a double. But as I said you, it cannot be used because it is very cost effective, and it is not portable. Alright, and it is very difficult to handle the hydrogen and oxygen, because you know hydrogen basically is a highly inflammable gas, and oxygen helps in burning. So just imagine if they contact with one another, if they come in contact with one another, what can it happen? Alright, for that purpose it is not used. Now the another important or the advantage of the fuel cell is that it is pollution free. Why? Because water is being produced as a byproduct, so no pollution is being created, and it gives you continuous supply of energy. Fuel cells can supply energy continuously so long as the fuels are fed into them. That is hydrogen, oxygen. So long you are feeding into them, you will be getting continuous supply of energy without any drop in the voltage or current. As long as you are using, there is no drop in the voltage or there is no drop in the current, we can say that. So these are the advantages: high efficiency, pollution free working, and continuous supply of energy. You will be getting it. But the limitations, I said you that this is practical difficulties involved is to handle the fuels we can say the hydrogen, oxygen. That's a practical difficulty. it required to be stored at liquid at a very low temperature and a high pressure in specially designed cylinders. We have to store it, hydrogen oxygen, got it, which increases the cost, and also it is not portable for that reason. And already I said you the catalyst which is being used, it's very costly, we can say that. Clear? I hope you understood about the different types of cells. Thank you very much.